Michigan football just got a flurry of great news. Let's talk about it. My name is Paul. Together with my buddy Aaron, we are the Big Ten guys. Tune in every single day for the latest Big Ten news, insights, and analysis. If you're a fan of Michigan or any Big Ten football team, take just a quick second, like and subscribe. It's not going to kill you. It does us a huge solid, and you won't regret it because we're going to be talking Michigan all off season long. And then also comment below. What are your expectations for the off season? What do you think is going to happen against Texas? Big matchups you like in that game? We always enjoy talking football with you guys, so hit us up in the comments. So I don't even know where to begin with this news. I have like 4 or 5 different pieces of news. Stick around for all of it. I'm going to start with several pieces that have come out in the last day or so, and then the last bit or two of news is more like things that have happened in the last week, but I think are important for painting the big picture of Michigan's offseason. And I think by the end of this video, you are going to be as hyped about the future of Michigan football as I am. So let me know in the comments what you think. But anyway, so obviously tough year. You lose to Ohio State, finish 9-3. It's a huge bummer. But you have to understand this was a super young team, freshman quarterback, best skill player on offense was a freshman, injuries all over the field, freshmen and sophomores all over the field. 9-3, considering all that, is not bad, and the future is bright. But it got even brighter in these last few days. So the big move from this weekend was Michigan just signed former Ohio State coach Kerry Coombs. And I know a lot of people have seen this and are just like, yeah, great, stole a rivalry, like a former coordinator. But I don't think people understand how big of a move that this was. So I'm not even going to sit here and argue about what I think he's going to do as a special teams coordinator. He's had some great years as a coordinator. He's had some years where he struggled. Who knows how he's going to do. But what he is going to do is he's going to be an elite recruiter for Michigan. This guy is Rivals 2017 Recruiter of the Year for the entire country and was the Big Ten Recruiter of the Year 3 different times. Look at some of these names that he landed during his time at Ohio State. He was the primary recruiter for 5 different 5-stars and 31 4-star recruits. And somebody mentioned the other day, I'll pull up the article here, that's probably Sharon Moore's agenda here, is we're going to take another guy who used to be at Ohio State and we are going to bring him to Michigan to start getting us some of the best recruits in the country. And it's not the first time he's done this. Obviously, a year or 2 ago, they brought in Tony Alford, Ohio State's running backs coach. Well, guess what? 5-star Savion Hyder is going to be wearing the maize and blue next year. He's already bringing in big-time recruits. Brought, Justice Haynes in the portal this year was a huge addition, and the running back room is so much better with him in it. And I think Kerry Coombs is going to be the same kind of guy. Michigan insider E.J. Holland was talking about him. He said, the first time I heard about him, he came down to Texas and beat Texas, the in-state favorite for former 5-star cornerback Jeff Okudah. And he was E.J. Holland said he was very close to Okudah, and he remembered him talking about Coombs and how great a relationship that they had, and that it was a big reason why he left his home state and went all the way up north to Ohio State. And he was the number 1 corner in the class, had 30-plus offers, but his relationship with Kerry Coombs is what won him over and brought him to Ann Arbor. So expect Coombs to bring in some big guys for Michigan, and for this team who has been recruiting really well even without him to get even better. You look at this year's recruiting rankings, Michigan's number 11. Obviously, you'd love to see it a little higher, but when you break down the actual numbers, so Michigan's recruiting score from 247 Sports is a 275.35, which is 18 points higher than the number 12 ranked team Washington. You look at 18 points above Michigan, and you would have to go all the way to number 4 Notre Dame. So the difference between number 5 Georgia and number 11 Michigan in these recruiting rankings is smaller than the ranking between Michigan and number 12 Washington. So there was a clear top 11 schools in recruiting. Nobody's perfect at projecting rankings. I think Michigan has gotten more out of their recruits than a lot of these other schools have, especially looking at you like Tennessee. They continue to get top 10 recruiting classes, and they're finishing unranked this year. But regardless, this is a program that's recruiting at an elite level, and they just brought in an ace recruiter who's going to make them even better. And as I promised, I have several pieces of good news. The good news goes beyond that. And this next thing I'm going to show you is actually maybe the most important thing, because Michigan can bring in all the 5 stars they want, but if they don't have the quarterback position right, it's not going to matter. And we know the talent is there for Bryce Underwood, but I loved seeing that Sharon Moore came out this week and said Michigan is going to add a quarterback coach who's really going to work with Bryce Underwood this offseason. So I love that. I don't think all the issues on offense were Bryce Underwood's fault. He was a freshman. Every freshman's going to have issues they work through. I think there's definitely a lot of things he needs to improve on and get better at. I think there's a lot of things the coaches need to improve on and get better at to set him up for success better. But I love seeing that they are recognizing what they did last year for him didn't work, and they're going to bring in a new coach to work with him and help him improve as a passer. Next bit of good news. I promised a bunch of it. I got more after this even. Sounds like Michigan is planning for few player opt-outs this year in the Citrus Bowl. This is big. It's not super unexpected. Just consider, the past few years, Michigan's just been loaded with expected first and second round picks. Those are generally the guys who are going to opt out. Even later round picks a lot of times really want that last chance to showcase their talent. But Michigan really doesn't have anybody this year who's looking like they're going to be a first or second round pick, at least in this year's draft. We don't know yet who officially will be in and who officially will be out, but Sharon Moore has said it doesn't seem like there's going to be many opt-outs this year, so we should get one more great Michigan game watching a fully equipped Michigan football team with all their players. And hey, at least we get to watch a bowl game. At least we're not Notre Dame fans who are so salty about not making the playoffs that we're just skipping our bowl game. And then even more good news, it sounds like they're going to work towards getting Rod Moore and Mikey Keene medical redshirts this year. I mean, Mikey Keene, whatever, I don't expect him to play. It never hurts to have quarterback depth. But Rod Moore is big, because I was super hyped he was going to come back this year. It's such a bummer the way the last couple years of his career turned out, because 2 years ago, you asked me what's going to happen to Rod Moore. I'd tell you right now he's probably a starting safety in the NFL. He is that kind of talent, but he's struggled with injury, didn't really play much at all this year. So it seems like they're going to push to get that medical red shirt, and we might finally get to see a fully healthy, full season out of Rod Moore. And that's huge for him, for one. I really hope he can have a good year and get drafted where he should and get his money and have his chance at his career, because he seems like an awesome person. And obviously I hope that for all Michigan players as a Michigan fan. But even, on top of that, it's great for Michigan because the dude is super talented. He's been the captain of this defense and would be a big part of Michigan's secondary. Moving on to even more good news. This one was a little bit more from last week. I'm sure many of you saw this, but while I'm talking about all the good news, I just had to mention it sounds like Michigan is going all in on trying to bring Justice Haynes back. We already know Jordan Marshall's coming back next year. We know 5-star Savion Hyder is going to be there next year, and he is going to be an absolute stud. If Justice Haynes comes back, this might be the greatest running back room in college football history, and I don't feel like that is a hyperbole. Just Justice Haynes and Jordan Marshall together were absolutely elite this year, and you could argue we're the best duo in college football. But adding in one of the most talented running backs in the country makes them even that much better. So sounds like they're going to throw a bag at him, try to convince him to come back for another year, improve that draft stock even more. I would love to see it. We'll see what ends up happening. But either way, it's good to have all this positive news after a tough end of the season against Ohio State. But we got to hang in there, Michigan fans. The future is super bright. So many players coming back next year, so much new talent coming in, new coaches who are going to be great for recruiting and great for developing our current players. Future's bright. Competing for natties is back on the horizon again, so get hyped for it. And then, let me know your thoughts on all of this, and don't forget, just like and subscribe on the way out.